Everybody here is thinking, yeah, there's something wrong with the way they did those studies. That can't be right. Come on, my kids. They're the greatest source of happiness in my life. Well, I'm a dad. I'm even a grandparent, and I feel exactly the same way. So the interesting question is, why do we all have an intuition that is entirely at odds with the data? And I'm going to suggest in closing, there are 3 answers to this question. 3 reasons why we believe children make us happy, even though the data suggests this isn't true. The 3 reasons are Armani socks, heroin, and baseball. So I could take questions now, and I will unpack these for you. So, this is a pair of cashmere socks. I don't own cashmere socks. You have to be in a different income bracket than I have to buy cashmere socks, because cashmere socks cost over $100 a pair. But here's something I know about cashmere socks. If I could be induced to buy a pair, at first I would feel like the biggest idiot in the world. But then I would put them on and I would start walking, and I'd start saying things like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, ooh. Oh, now I'm getting it. Oh my God, this is like walking on angel's wings. This is amazing. My God, I finally see the light. And I would start telling other people, you've got to buy some cashmere socks. Why do I know this? Because a basic law of economics is people pay a lot for things they love. A basic law of psychology is people love a lot the things they pay for. The more you can make somebody pay, the more they will love the thing they bought. What does that sound like? Children, yes, children. Of course you pay for them in money, from dental work to college tuition, but you pay for them in blood and sweat and tears and hair. You pay for them in every way. They are hard work. Sacrificing for them is built into our DNA. What kind of idiot would you be to do that if they didn't make you happy? And so you have them and you say, wow, I'm up all night, but oh, wait a minute, I think I get it. Yes, children, and you have to have some too. There are even some data suggesting this is true. Bring parents into a laboratory and have them read one of 2 kinds of magazine articles. One magazine article talks all about the benefits of having children, how much joy they will bring you, how they'll care for you in your old age. Another magazine article talks only about the costs of having children, how expensive it will be, how much time and energy and money they will drain from you. After reading these magazine articles, parents are asked a simple question: how much do you enjoy spending time with your kids? And what's the answer? Well, you might expect that after reading about how costly children are, you would decide maybe you don't like yours very much. But in fact, exactly the opposite is true. When you remind parents of how costly children are, they report enjoying their time with them even more. Why? Oh, you just have to have some to see. If you had them, you'd know. It's really hard to explain, but you gotta buy a pair. Okay. So one reason we think that our children bring us a lot of happiness is because they don't. Now, heroin. It would be, you hear people say that heroin is a great source of human misery. And there is a way in which it is, but there's a way in which it isn't. I don't know about you, but I've had back surgery, so I've had the opiates, morphine, Demerol. They're great. No misery. No. Nirvana, heaven, joy, bliss. Just about the best feeling I've ever had. So how can heroin be a source of misery when every time you take it, you feel great? Well, one answer is that heroin makes you feel so good that it will crowd out every other source of pleasure in your life. You will stop working. You will stop interacting with your family. You'll stop paying for your house. You will stop brushing your teeth. You will just go sit in a corner anywhere you can and take heroin because that thing is so good. Now, the heroin itself will make you feel good, but the net effect of heroin is to ruin your life. What does that sound like? Yeah, okay. So, You look at a little baby, and it's a little bit like a heroin high. Oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy. And the little baby is a heroin high, but the little baby will stop you from doing all the things that were slightly less highs, like, oh, going to the movies, seeing your friends, having sex, bathing regularly, devoting yourself to your job, reading books, you name it. The list is long. Children crowd out the other pleasures of life because they're just so demanding. They take so much from us. So the net effect of children is that your net happiness can go down, even though every time you look at that child, you go, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I once had a woman come up out of the audience after I talked about children and happiness, and she said, Professor Gilbert, my child is my greatest source of joy. To which I said, when you have one source of joy, it is by definition your greatest source of joy. And this is true, not entirely, but it's not a bad summary of life for many parents. Now, finally, baseball. So, are Israelis obsessed with baseball, or is it only Americans and Japanese? Okay, well, this is going to be hard to explain. All right, so I live in Boston. My team is the Red Sox. We don't care if they win. We only care if they beat the New York Yankees. It's a great baseball rivalry. Now, if I were to go to the ballpark to watch a game between my team and their arch rival, and for 9 innings, that's how long a baseball game lasts, nothing happens. It's called a no-hitter, right? Nobody hits the ball. Okay, baseball works like this. Man stands there, tries to, I'm getting so many blank looks. So I will move right along. I watched this game that is a no-hitter, and then at the very end of the game, my guy comes up and he swings the bat and he hits the ball out of the park, and we win 1-0. Now, when I go home, my wife will say, how was the game? And I will say, oh, it was fantastic. You should have seen that ball sailing over the left field fence. It was a marvelous moment, and we won. That's the wrong answer. The right answer to her question, how was the game, is it was remarkably boring. It was dull. It was 3 excruciating hours of watching nothing happen that ended in a single transcendent moment when we killed our rivals. Now, here's why that's important. One of the things we know about human memory, again, thanks to Professor Kahneman, is that the way people remember episodes is by their highest peak and their final moments. So I'm remembering this 3-hour baseball game as great when actually it was a crummy time with a single great moment. That's a day with a 5-year-old. Most of the day is spent saying, not now, not yet, don't hit your brother, I already told you, no, we're not buying it. If you do that again, we're going home. It's a big no-hitter. And then there's these moments, just when you think, I'm leaving the stadium, I don't want to stay any longer. The 5-year-old looks up at you with chocolate ice cream on her face and says, I love you because you're the bestest daddy who ever lived. Yeah, grand slam home run of the heart. And at the end of the day, when my wife says to me, how was the day? I go, oh, it was wonderful. No, it wasn't wonderful. It really wasn't. It was a very bad day, punctuated by an extraordinary, transcendent moment. Children bring us moments of joy, this is my opinion, I speak only as a parent, that are kind of unparalleled by anything, maybe even heroin. But those moments are rare. Most of the time, we're just working hard. If we were to count all the moments we spent with a child and add up the amount of happiness we got over the moments, we would find that basically we like doing everything else more than being with our kids. Just like scientists find when they do exactly that. But if you ask a parent, what the parent will remember is that for all of that hard, tedious work, there were transcendent moments that made it all worthwhile.